What's up, everyone? Welcome to another fine episode of Talking Shit with me, Chavez. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Oh, man, are these even on today? Let me get these off real quick. Oh, no. All right, here we go. I think they're on. Let me check. Oh, they're on. They are on. All right. So it's been a little bit of a long week, a long weekend. I was definitely involved in a weekend of breweries and selling ceviche, and I was also making a lot of connections. Excuse me, doing a lot of seltzer drinking, giving me the burpees. So I want to tell you a little bit about my weekend. Even though it's Wednesday, we haven't really spoken. I haven't really been on, and that's because you know I have other things going on. But I try to make this a big priority. So the first thing I want to go into is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that is being a part of this brewery world that I've so casually entered into about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. I sell ceviche with my girlfriend and her mom as I want to call it like a luxurious um, side job or a side hustle, as they say. Um, I do it um, because I really like to, but it's become a very profitable, very lucrative thing that I've been doing. And this is kind of how it goes for anybody out there that wants to start doing something extra in their life, and they find the time to do it, and they have the means to do it. So I sell Colombian style ceviche, and it's been a roller coaster ride for me ever since I've started doing it. That was during the start of COVID. Um, the short story of it is at the beginning of COVID, I went and I went to my girlfriend's house, and we were sitting in her backyard patio, and her very strong, very strong-minded uh, Colombian mother, who I now have come to love very much. She went out and I think, for better or worse, went out and prepared this ceviche. Now, if you don't know Colombian ceviche, which is not the common ceviche that everyone knows, it is a tomato salsa based ceviche that has whatever kind of protein that you want in it. But shrimp and fish, white fish, are usually the key components. And we also have a vegan option that we serve people that are either allergic or just simply they simply live a vegan lifestyle. So um, when she brought it out to me that fateful day back in 2020, I I have to tell you, I was blown away by the ceviche. I was not prepared for how delicious how delicious something could be. But it was, and I gave her a very strong compliment, um, as though she doesn't already know that she's a really great cook. Um, so after the ceviche was consumed, there was a lot left, and she then brought out some coconut rice. I didn't know it was coconut rice at the time, but she brought it out and she says, "Okay, please try it with the rice." And I was like, "Okay, I definitely will." This was a life changing experience for me because what's up, Jimmy Bunts? Um, so it was a life changing experience for me because I'm a big foodie, And there's really nothing on this planet that I don't really think I could eat or I would ever put in my mouth. Short of, I have a list of 5 things. Um, what's up, Jimmy Buns? Uh, no, in no particular order, but I will say that this could be the order. First, we'll go with humans. I would never eat a human. Let's go with cat and dog as 2 and 3. We're gonna go with rat, and last but not least, as most people would think that this is an odd 5th choice, I am not a big fan of grapefruits. So those are the 5 things I would never put in my mouth. Or a dick. We could put that as honorable mention. No dicks. No, 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 no. My girlfriend sometimes thinks I'm gay, and I don't know why. Maybe because I make a lot of gay references and I'm very secure in my masculinity. But if I was gay, it wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, I know plenty of gay people. I don't want this to turn into a gay conversation. But going back to the conversation, this was probably one of the most amazing things I ever put in my body. Food, if you've just joined us. What's up, Haley? Baby is cute. Your baby looks just like you. I just wanted to tell you that if you're on. Cutest baby I've seen in a long time. Um, so we had this, and I made a fateful comment that day and said to her, tongue in cheek, "You're welcome." Um, I said, this is something we should probably sell. And I'm sitting there, haha, very funny. It's not that great, but it was. And the story starts there. She took it pretty seriously, and here we are today, and we're selling the stuff. But the real conversation is, I want to talk about the brewery life, and I want to tell people out there who haven't really experienced this part of their life how amazing this world is. And I know there are people out there, Jimmy Bunting. I know there are people out there that do take on this this role of the brewery life, and I'm excited to tell you about it because it is one of the most highly anticipated parts of my life. So on the weekends is where I do my business, and I will say that it is a piece of my life that I find very rewarding. I'm a sociable guy who loves to interact with people. I love it even better when the conversations are heavy and full of fun topics. Henceforth, the reason why I do a podcast show, because I do really I love and enjoy talking to people. So let's start with this. So every weekend from Friday to Sunday, sometimes even Thursday, I pop up with my food at various breweries all across Brooklyn and Queens, and now starting in Manhattan. That includes also Long Island for the most part. We'll be doing more Long Island venues in the summer. So let's start with how these breweries are. All of them are different, from breweries in Brooklyn to Queens to Long Island to Manhattan. I have not yet set forth into the Bronx quite yet, but I sure will. I will definitely. So these breweries, I have to say, they all have distinct characteristics. They have an amazing array of finely crafted brews. I couldn't begin to tell you who is better or worse because I can't do it. I won't do it because they're all just really, really great. And nobody that's running these shows have ever disappointed. There are some breweries that I don't think do certain kinds of beers as good as other people or as other breweries, but some of their other products kick ass. Now, I'm I'm a big sour beer guy. I know what you're thinking, sour beers. I just think they're fucking refreshing. I think that they're well made. I could name off the top of my head 3 breweries right off the top of my head that I think kill the game. Bridge and Tunnel. Uh, Shout out to Evil Twin. Shout out to Grim. Shout out to Talea. You guys are killing it. I see. I'm gonna name all of them because now I'm thinking about Fifth Hammer in Long Island City. They also are killing it. There's too many to name. Now I'm just saying sour beers. But here's the game, man. Now, if you are involved in a relationship, it's a great date place. If you're involved in nobody, it's a great friend gathering place. And if you want tips on where to go, man, I'm your guy. Because I have about 15 to 18 relationships with all these breweries. And I find myself always trying new things every day. It's probably why I'm fat. Anyway, so when I get there, one thing is for sure is that I am in very, very good tidings with a lot of the tap room managers. I am in good tidings with a lot of the bartenders. I tip very well. I do not go into these places and leave $2 or $3. That's not cool. Don't do it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to say this. I've been in this food service industry for a long time. I thought I left it behind, but I find myself back here again. Don't be a bad tipper. If you're a bad tipper, don't go out to drink or eat. Don't do it. You're soiling yourself. You're making yourself look like an ass, and you have not put yourself in the shoes of a server or a bartender if you do that. You cannot go into a bar or bar/restaurant and not tip well. It's basic. It's basic. What do we even call it? Food service industry 101. I'll be honest with you. If I was a bartender and you tipped me poorly, I would tell you. And in most restaurants, they don't like it. They're like, tipping is not mandatory. It's complimentary. Fuck you. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, because bartenders and waiters don't make a normal salary, assholes. For all the managers that have said that to me in the past when I was younger and didn't know any better, go fuck yourselves. Because you obviously make a salary, so you don't give a shit. So fuck you to all the people, and that's excluding Mike McGlynn of Louis Oyster Bar and Grill. He understood. But everybody else, all the fucking Boulder Creek managers, all the fucking uh, uh, all the Applebee's managers, all those people who are in restaurants that don't serve quality food. They just serve some fucking shitty ass food that's cheap and delicious. It's delicious, but it's shitty and bad for you. And they tell their waiters, oh, if a person tips you, just eat it. And no, fuck you. I will tell a person quick. I'm sorry. Is this my tip or is this just, did you forget this in your pocket? I've gone up to people and given back tips. A $5 tip on $100 dining bill. Sorry, not happening today. And you should, if you're a server and you're out there and it's your side gig, you should do it too. There's plenty of restaurants to work in. I mean, you're in New York, and don't ever subject yourself to some Applebee's, Boulder Creek, what's that other steakhouse, Outback. Those are some shitty. You want to make real money? Go to a real restaurant. Go to a restaurant that doesn't have a fucking commercial. Eating great in the neighborhood. Yeah, getting tipped shitty as well. So going back to the breweries, like don't go if you don't know how to tip. Anyway, these are all learning experiences too, and that you go and find yourself, even if you're not a beer guy or a beer gal. You really can find something special. My girlfriend doesn't really like beer, but she's with me, and I've turned her. I mean, I actually didn't really even turn her into one. She actually did it on her own. But I will say that on her own, she's made distinct collaborations of beers and wines. And some of these breweries even make mixed cocktails. It's pretty fucking awesome. Evil Twin does frozen drinks. They do shots of spirits. They're really awesome. I have to shout out all of them because well done, guys. Well done. And thank you in advance, or if I have not before, which I'm sure I have. Thank you for letting all of these pop-up kitchens come in and do what they got to do to make a little side hustle. I mean, who is it really hurting? Nobody, right? Like they invite us in, we come in, we don't pay them anything. It's a shared camaraderie of you bring your people and we'll feed your people, because most breweries do not, they absolutely do not serve a lot of food. They may serve some fun food like pretzels, or they may serve like a charcuterie board. I know Talea has a beautiful charcuterie board. Charcuterie. I think there's one. I said it right at one of those chances. And I know they serve like an olive dish and some pretzels, whatever. And those are all delicious. Like when I go to a brewery and I see people enjoying the brewery food that is offered, I will definitely say to them, "Hey, listen, if this doesn't fill you up, or if you're looking to try something different, or if you're not full from this, try some ceviche." And I'm gonna segue in a little bit to my next portion of the show, which is based on delivering your message. But let me continue with this. So the breweries all around Queens and Brooklyn. Now, there's not. We've been to more breweries. Oh, actually, no, I don't know if that's true. I was going to say, I think we've been to more breweries in Brooklyn than we have in Queens, but I'd say we're cutting it pretty close. In let's say Single Cut, Fifth Hammer, Bridge and Tunnel, and Evil Twin are all in Queens, because Ridgewood is still considered Queens. Whereas Grimm, KCBC's, Talea, The Endless Life, what am I missing? I mean, I'm missing a ton of them, but these guys are all in Brooklyn. The Talea in Cobble Hill, they have 2 locations. So these are all great places you can go. And like I said, if you're with a person in your life and you really want to impress them, maybe you've never done this for all the young couples out there. Let me tell you, 21 and over, of course. Let me tell you, man, this is quite the scene. You go there on a beautiful Saturday or Sunday, go for brunch, and then pop up after brunch. You are definitely you're definitely doing yourself a service by not only showing up at a place that has, I mean, it's a very classy thing to do, even a place like Bridge and Tunnel, whom I have nothing but love for, but it looks nothing like Talea. It looks nothing like Grimm. It's not a well lit open area. It's a small little brewery that really, their beers speak for themselves. It's nothing to do with, at least if I know, it has nothing to do with the way it looks. Sometimes you could miss it if you don't see it right away, but it is a very, very cool brewery. It's got a different vibe to it, and the vibes in the breweries are all different. Some of them resemble each other, but I will point out that the beers that are being crafted, they're all doing a lot of the same things. There's this one color, fruited sour, that is in this really rich purple, I can't, like lavender purple reddish color. And I don't know how they get this color and how they even all know about this color, but I will forever in my life know of it. I will forever in my life be reminded of breweries by this color. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever even seen this color before. It's supposed to be a man-made color, but they're all delicious. And I wanted to tell you that the brewery life that I live on the weekends is exciting. I get to talk to so many people, and I do a lot in my life. I don't I'm not, I don't brag about anything. I don't, because I have nothing to brag about. But if you knew Chavez, this guy, these are the things you would know about me. For all those that who don't know me on this, I am a big foodie. I do love to drink, but I've cut back a little bit. I'm a Department of Education teacher for 9 years. I am a podcast host for 2 shows called No Running in the Halls DOE Edition and Talking Shit. I am currently in the back end stage of becoming an author for a children's book. And that I'm pretty proud of because I was dyslexic when I was a kid and I did not enjoy reading. I hated reading aloud. I hated um, I hated even just picking up. Even today, what I could view visually, I'll choose over reading because my ADHD gets in the way, which is probably why my ADHD got in the way of this book coming out sooner. But the book is called The Adventures of Gideon the Pigeon and Larry the Bird. So if you're a Gen X guy or a Gen X gal, you know who Larry Bird is. So I kind of made it into a theme. And they go on adventures. And Larry the Bird is um, a bird of normal, regular intelligence, and Gideon is an autistic pigeon. And I don't know if you've ever seen those little brown birds they call sparrows that fly around New York City. That's who Larry the Bird is. So it's a pigeon and a sparrow, and they go on adventures together. Gideon is also a savant, so he does many cool things with his talents, and that's where we stop. So, author, podcast host, teacher, foodie, um, and I love people. Um, I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. I just want to say that the people that I don't like, um, I do believe in second chances, and I do believe that first impressions are everything, but some people aren't good at them. Um, but an apology goes a long way, and mending broken hearts is is uh is a thing. Um, Harboring ill will feelings is probably not a good idea. Some people think that I do that, but I really don't. I actually don't even give a shit. Um, Even where I work, there are a couple of people that I don't really care for. But it's again, it's like this. If you know somebody doesn't like you and you don't care that they don't like you, move on. If you do care, then you should do something constructively to figure that out. Um, so this segues into my next topic, which is how to deliver your message. So, what does that mean? Um, Most people don't realize that in our world today, um, people are sensitive, right? And I have so many stories. It would take up so many shows, but I have so many stories about how people have received or given some kind of verbal exchange and it's gone awry. Like, not even like you can't even say it's gone bad. It went terrible. And it's because someone didn't receive it or deliver it well. So here's what I mean. Um, Most recently, I've been in contact with a certification specialist that works for the state that handles all the certifications for teachers. Now, if you don't have the proper certification by a certain time, you cannot be a teacher, and I understand that. So this lady who I've been on an email exchange with time and time again, until yesterday, we were actually on a Zoom type meeting. It was called a Teams meeting. And she wanted to talk to me because of some emails that I had sent her. Excuse me. These emails was me popping off, but I did it correctly, and I don't apologize for them. But we were on this Teams meeting, and she says to me, I said to her, you know, that email that you sent me that said, this is almost verbatim. She said, "I know how you're feeling. I concur. Good luck." Okay, good luck. Now, in an email, good luck has no emotion. It has no intonation of voice, nor does it have any any kind of resonance on how it's supposed to be received. I took it as like an appalling, like, what? Good luck. Bitch, the reason why I'm on the phone with you is because I'm trying to get your help. I don't need you to wish me good luck. I don't, the luck has nothing to do with this. Luck is a made up word. Luck, that's almost like when someone says to you, after you tell them that a bird shit on you, they go, oh, don't worry about it. That means good luck. No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. A bird shit on you. If you found any luck after that, come talk to me. Come see about me. Because I want to know what luck that brought you. All right. So I said to her in this conversation, we were live, spitting back at each other. I said, listen, Yovan. Oh, I shouldn't have said her name. Listen, miss. I said, you're a grown woman who works for the state. She didn't like that. She didn't like that I said grown woman. So I said, no, miss, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. I'm offended by someone saying grown woman, or I'm a taken back by, you know, you're a grown woman. I didn't call you anything that you weren't. But what I'm stating is, if you're a grown woman who has some formal education, okay, when you send an email, in an email that wasn't properly delivered, you can expect, and she said to me, she goes, oh, I have people that call, email me all the time and try to, like, try to bury me. She said, I'm used to it. I've been doing this 25 years. Meanwhile, I said, you're a grown woman, and she got so offended. She was like, she goes, you don't have to call me a grown woman. I know I'm a grown. I was like, baby, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. You're looking for a fight. You're looking to pick a fight with me. And that's not my goal. But I did everything in my power in this email to make her understand that her role as certification specialist was not being handled by what the title represents. She has people above her that she has to answer to. And I said, that just makes you a messenger. You're just the unfortunate messenger that gets to tell everybody their bad news. Because I'm, not really saying anything bad here, but there really wasn't much good news up until yesterday. And even yesterday's good news wasn't amazing news. It was slightly okay. So here's how you deliver your message to people and get your point across. Because this world is not a game of checkers, it's a game of chess. And if you're not playing chess, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get where you need to go. So here's how you play the game of chess when talking to people, whether they are supervisors, managers, CEOs. You have to give them as a matter of fact, and you have to do it the right way. You can't just go in there and start guns blazing, and you can't go out there and just open fire at will with no thought, no meticulous game plan, strategy, or anything. You have to think it through. Even if you're light on your feet, you might run into some problems. Now, you may not know this, but you could tell your boss, your friend, your mom, your dad, the manager of whatever. You could tell them how big of a dick they are without ever having to insult them. You could tell somebody that they're not doing their job correctly without ever insulting them. And you could also tell somebody how you feel about them. Yep, without ever insulting them. And here's how you do it. Never use words that are offensive. Never talk to them. Never make them the direct subject. You can also use relative comparisons. You can use sight words, feelings of emotion, opinions on how you feel, observations of the matter. And these are all very important things. So when you're involved in a conversation, okay, if you're not feeling well about the conversation. You don't feel like it's going your way. And yet you've put every effort into making this conversation go well. These are your tactics. These are brass tactics. And you can do these things because, especially for someone who is a city worker, right? You have a lot of support. You may not think so, but you do. And nobody likes to hear, well, I'm going to take this to another level. And nobody wants to hear, well, you'll hear from my blankety blank. No one really likes that stuff. Nobody wants that smoke. Nobody, and it gets intense. It gets intense, you know? And I don't think anybody out there really wants something that can be figured out in a moment of matter of moments or in a few words exchange uh, than the latter, right? So let's get into a scenario. Um, when you speak, obviously, I think you should have some kind of representation with you or somebody else in the room, so this way that you don't. There's not a he said she said bullshit. Thank you, Limp Bizkit. It's you don't have to do that. You don't have to put yourself in that position. Excuse me. Then you got to come in with facts. Okay, your opinions do matter at some point, but you got to come in with facts. You got to come in with things that you know, things that are legit, right, and things that are simply um, on topic. Okay, can't go off topic, right? So these are some keys that you can use. And you know what? I'm only one person, but I've done these things and they have worked. And I don't know how, but I've gotten a lot of people to change their minds about things. Now, I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm not talking about that. Some people might think that people who go into conversations, they're manipulative and they that's not it. I mean, if you are, look, that I think manipulation is a talent. To be honest with you, you might not agree with that, but I think it's a talent. If you could make somebody do something without putting much effort into it, the manipulation of the mind is an incredible tool, and a lot of people have done it. A lot of people have done that with their chess-like game of verbal exchange, and then that makes hey, what's up? My girl's on. Hey, honey. Um, so that is a concrete way that you can get your point across, because I think that if you go into a gunfight with a knife, it's not going to go well for you, and you're never going to achieve the satisfaction or the goal of what you went into that situation looking to do. All right. You cannot go into a gunfight with a knife. And you certainly aren't going to win any points by insulting someone or making them feel bad, especially if you back them into a corner. You can't do that either. That would be really, really, really fucked up. And no one said, you know what? To each his own. If you feel like that method works for you and you've done that in the past, then do it. But I'm going to tell you, backing someone into a corner has has a lot of different reciprocal effects. Um, I try to go into every situation coming out that I was respected from my view, and that the person listened to what I was saying, and they were um, they were reciprocative. I think that's a word, or they were reciprocating on my points, my factual points, and even the opinions I made on the subject. Now, no one's saying you can't give your opinion. Give it, but make sure that you give it and you deliver it the right way. And that's what I want to say on that. Um, and if anyone's out there that have any questions, please feel free to DM me. And feel free to even chime in, who's ever on. I would love to hear your questions. And again, I said this from the very beginning. When I started this podcast show, I don't have all the answers, but what I can do is I can discuss them. We can come to an answer, and I think that's most important. You got to learn to crawl before you walk. That's what how the old saying goes. All right. I want to segue into my third topic. And I promised myself, man, back and forth, have I promised myself that I would not tackle these subjects. Man, I've lied to myself, but I can't begin to tell you how crazy it is getting out there. And being a guy who's on social media a lot, I have seen these seminars and I have seen these big debates on this whole topic of, oh, here it goes. I know I'm going to lose people, but you know what, man? I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about this gender thing. All right. Now, before we go on, I want to state this so that I clear myself and pre-vindicate who I am. I've said this, people know this about me. I am absolutely unaffected by the transgender world. I am unaffected by it. I don't care. I don't care if you're a boy who was once a girl. I don't care if you were a girl who was once a boy. I don't care if you want me to specifically identify you as such that you feel comfortable. I don't care. I'm unaffected by it, and I want everybody to know that. If you want to live your life that way, then you can. That's your choice. That's why we live in America. Do what you got to do. If you affect me directly, which I can't see how that can happen, then yes, I will be upset. It's just like race. And I say this time and time again. I am not a racist person. I can't be. I grew up in Queens. How am I racist? I mean, I've been around so much diversity. It's unethical for me to be racist. But I will tell you this. If I don't like you, or if I have ill feelings about you, it's not because of your race. It's not because of the color of your skin. It's not the shape of your eyes, the texture of your hair, the cultural history that you have. It's because I don't like you particularly. So, and that's why no one's ever come up to me and said, well, this is a fucking race thing. No one has ever done that to me. And I'll tell you why. Because I have friends of all types of cultural backgrounds, ethnicities, however you want to put it. And there's some that I will trust with my firstborn. Not that I would have one, but if I did. And there are some that I would I wouldn't leave them alone for a second. And that includes all ethnicities, all races, all cultures. If I like you, there's nothing to do with your background. It's all character to me. It's all trust to me. It's all how you present yourself. Now, I know some people that, like even one of my best friends, all right, this guy, he's sometimes hard, he's hard to handle a little bit here and there. He's rough around the edges. But all in all, he's a lovable guy, and I've known him for pretty much 3/4 of my life. But I could see how someone would find him a little difficult. He's an intense guy, but I love him to death. That's my boy. All right. But if you don't know enough about somebody, all right, that means you're just not knowledgeable about them, and you don't know their background. You don't know anything about them. But going back to this gender thing, this is what is upsetting me right now. And I want everyone to brace themselves, because this is not an easy topic, because a lot of people they're ready to be offended. They're waiting for the moment that you can offend them. But in these conferences, right, and they're speaking to very educated people who have hard concrete evidence, or hard concrete things that they say as a rebuttal or an answer to transgender people. So I heard this one thing, And it made a lot of sense to me. And again, I'm going to go and state this. If you're a transgender person, okay, you were assigned at birth, um, male or female. If you don't continue with that your whole life, then you're a male or a female. If at some point you want to change that, there's nothing wrong. In my eyes, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to start acting and dressing and presenting yourself as the opposite sex as you were assigned, right? That's cool. But don't expect us, right? The people that are not clearly educated, but don't expect us to know whether or not you are. Specifically, if your name is very unisex, right? I met someone recently that I couldn't tell. I wasn't about to try and hurt my brain, nor did I want to offend them, because that's a big thing these days. Their name was Cam. So I didn't know how to refer to them as he, she, her, him. I didn't. So I kept using the name Cam. That was the smart thing to do. Because this them, they thing, I think is kind of ridiculous, but that's just me. I just don't think one person should be called them. I don't know. I guess that's just me. Again, I don't care, but I don't know what that means. Right? I don't know what it means. And I'm a pretty smart guy, but I don't know how you want me to refer to you as. That's one thing. But if you're going to go to a conference and someone says to you, the panel host says to you, okay, Mr. or Miss, transgender, I want to start. And the man on the podium was clearly, he was a Caucasian man. He's married to a woman, and he was in his 60s. And he said, okay, young person, I want to start identifying as a black lesbian in my 20s. And the person who was in the audience making the claim, and this was interesting for me because this kind of set the tone. They go, well, that's absurd. And the man goes, how so? If we're going to start talking about what's absurd here, we should really start talking about how you really think that you're a woman. Again, I'm just repeating what this back and forth was. And the woman said, the woman who is identifying as a woman said, well, this is absurd. You can't, that you're making a mockery of of what identifying is. He said, well, you open that door first. And I agreed with him because, yes, if you don't want people to say that you're absurd, right? Because the transgender world, and if you're not transgender where you didn't get a reassignment surgery, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the technology is available for a man to change to a woman and be able to procreate. I don't think that surgery is available. Actually, I'm almost certain it's not available. But listening to the transgender woman make their point, I just almost started feeling bad because, once again, I said it earlier, she came to a gunfight with a knife. And their points were not valid. They certainly weren't well thought out. The delivery of them was not executed very, very well. And she got sunned at this conference, along with many. And again, I state this: walk around the earth however makes you comfortable. Again, I don't care. I don't give a fuck about it. What I do care is if you're going to subject yourself to a conference, uh, televised, internet vised, whatever it is, you got to come prepared. You have to say things that are going to change the minds of the people who oppose your statement. And if someone wants to throw in, well, I want to identify as a black lesbian in my 20s, when he was clearly a married white man, married to a woman, and he showed his ring. He said, I'm a married white man who's 20 in their 20s. To claim absurdity about that is you're digging your own grave. Because although I think that when you hit a certain age, whether it's 3 years of age, 12 years of age, or just like the Jenner guy who's now Caitlyn Jenner, or if it's later on in life, if you are uncomfortable in the body that you're in, that is fine. Fine. If you want to start dressing and acting and being who you think is the real you, that's fine. But you can't go into the argument saying that I'm a woman, this is what I am, and this is how I'm, and have no validity. If you don't have validity, if you don't have real answers, if you don't have real concrete things, and then you say to the panel person, oh, well, you can't identify it. Money, if you can identify as a woman, but you were assigned at birth a male, then anybody can identify with what and whomever they want. You can't scream out absurdity. You can't do that. Because it's absurd for you to make us believe that you're a female. I know a lot of transgender people that I've not only seen on the on social media, and I've seen some great look. Oh my God, I've been fooled before. Oh my God, I follow this one guy, George. He is. I would never have known that person is an actual boy or a male. I didn't know. I've been fooled. My girlfriend knows. I'll go. They'll walk down the block. I'm like, oh wow, it's pretty. She's very pretty. And my girl's the best. You know, she doesn't ever get upset. You know, she knows at the end of the day I go home to her. But I comment on a lot of females. I'm 45 years old. If you can't handle it, go fuck yourself. And I don't mean that to you, sweetheart. I mean that to anybody who's in a relationship. If you can't be able to voice your opinions and comments in front of your girl, that means you're hiding too much shit anyway. So go fuck yourself. It's your fault. But I've been fooled. And I know a lot of them, but I know some that do not look like women. They can try all they want, but but if it's how they feel that makes them feel better, man, best of luck. But you are, in this world, you have haters. You have people that are not going to be on your side. You have people that are not going to agree with you. You're certainly going to have people that are willing to hurt other people. That's not who I am. I'm a teacher. I have to accept, and I'm willing to accept all kinds of people, from physically disabled to mentally disabled to emotionally disabled to transgender to mentally retarded to all these things. And we don't even really use the word retarded anymore. But all walks of life I am okay with. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, it's no concern of mine. It's no concern of mine. It's not my life. That's your life. All right? I choose to wear a beard. I choose to wear hats at my job. I choose to wear sneakers. I have hundreds of sneakers. Okay? And if someone told me, you can't do that, I'd say, how the fuck does this affect you? How does it affect you? And that's how I feel about the gender thing. But if you're going to go into a conference and you can't back up your story and and you have the audacity to tell someone else that they can't identify as something, you shouldn't be at that conference. Don't be at that conference. Because on live uh, inter- internet and live streaming, social media, TV, whatever it is, you're going to look like an ass. Okay. And there's so many of these clips where even medical stuff has been brought into the conversation. For instance, I'll give you another one. This transgender person who is now a woman was upset that the panel host did not like that she was mentioning um, how she was accepted in the world as a female. She's like, all of my coworkers identify me as a female. And he was saying, well, it's because you made them do that, right? And he was kind of right, because otherwise most people would just think that you're a cross dresser but this person, they wanted to be identified as a female. So then the conversation got heated, and I wish I could play it for you, but I can't. But the person said, the panel host said, so if there was a medical emergency and you were the paramedic on hand, and a person who was transgender was now a female, and that was the patient you were dealing with, and they claimed to you that they had a miscarriage and that I think I have internal bleeding, would you carry on with your duties as a paramedic and perform surgery or perform whatever needed to be done? And to be honest with you, that person could not answer. But you have to be prepared to answer those questions at a conference that is primarily dealing with the topic of transgender. And that's all I want to say about that. Because again, I don't care. I'm just the messenger of conferences that I have researched where your bark is very, very loud. And I'm referring to the transgender world. Your bark is very loud, but there's no bite. And in order to make waves and make moves to generate change for you and your community, you have to come prepared. And I think that goes with a lot of situations in this world, whether it's talking to your boss, a colleague, a mother or father, friend or relative, or at a conference dealing with topics like race, gender, religion, politics. You have to have concrete facts. And if somebody rebuttals with a uh, um, concrete answer, you should stand down if you don't have anything left in the chamber of the pistol that you're using to fire and make waves. And that's all I want to say about that. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. I know that I didn't have too many on tonight, but if you're watching, please understand this. I don't have a say on the matter. Just wanted to repeat to you what I saw and how appalled I was that some of these conferences have been taken over. All right, they've been taken over by people who don't have the right ammunition to come into these talks. All right, if I wanted to identify as an NBA basketball player, but I've never played one game in the NBA, nor did I play college ball, I really can't say that. I could walk around with a Lakers jersey or a Knicks jersey or a Bulls jersey and, with a pair of J's on, but everyone's going to know I'm not an NBA ball player. All right, so identify as something is fine. Identify with whatever you want. But it's going to take a lot for you to convince people. All right. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be listen for the gay and lesbian community, for the transgender community, for people who are fighting for cultural and racial rights. You got to come correct. Come with information. Come with validity. Come with a message. All right, deliver it the right way. Accept the things that you cannot change, but change the things that you want and that you cannot change, right? If you cannot change something, listen, racism is going to exist for a long time. Bigotry, any kind of prejudice, it's going to exist. For all you people out there that think that this will end one day, it's not. Okay, people generally hate things. And I'm sorry that I have to be the deliverer of that news, but man, we're in a cruel world. This is a cruel world we live in. We're not in a harmonious world. I wish we were, but we're not. I try to be nice to everybody, but I want you to know, whether it's race, whether it's religion, I don't care what you worship. I don't care what political views you have. I don't care what you identify as. But if you're going to discuss it with people, make sure that Johnny Utah, long time no see. You just missed an intense conversation. If you're going to enter those conversations, you have to come prepared. And that's that. That's that in a baseball cap. There's no sound? What are you talking about? There's got to be sound. I have sound. No, I don't know. Anyway, this concludes today's this episode of Talking Shit. I hope you all enjoyed it. Johnny Utah, you're gonna have to. Oh, Johnny's. Oh no, I think it's because of this. Johnny Utah, can you hear me?
What up, Chavez? I'm with Andy Shifts.
Why does Andy Ship look like he's about to kill someone?
Big Mo.
What's up, Big Mo? What's going on?
Big Mo, what are you going on? We're on a live podcast. What's going on, baby? It's Big Mo. Big Mo Entertainment. How's everything, baby?
What's going on, Big Mo? Good to meet you.
All right, baby. Yo, what up, Chavez?
Yo, what's up?
What's the topic?
We were doing so my three topics were, this might be ending in a little bit, but do you want to get on to YouTube? Go on to YouTube. I'll keep it going if you want, because this is the Instagram one might end.
Oh, okay.
You want to swing?
We can request a YouTube.
Oh no, you can't. I just forgot. You can't yet. I can start a new one. You want me to I'm gonna start a new one. You want me to start a new one?
Yeah, start a new one. Yeah.
All right, let me get off here. All right.
All right, bye. That's.
All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Sorry about that.